whispers in the shadows. Footsteps echo in empty halls. Welcome to the 10 most haunted places in Sri Lanka, where every doorway hides a chilling secret. From cursed manors to spectral mountains, these eerie locations aren't just legends, they're warnings. Dare to enter a world where the dead never rest, and even the brave are watched. Turn back now, or continue, if you're not afraid of what's waiting. 1. The Helga's Folly. Kandy, perched high in the misty hills of Kandy, Helga's Folly lures you in with its kaleidoscope of colors and eccentric decor. But as the sun dips below the horizon, its whimsical charm unravels into something far darker. The sprawling, century-old mansion-turned-hotel whispers with secrets of a turbulent past. During its early years, the house bore witness to the shadow of war and despair. Stories of suicides and untimely deaths flow like an invisible current through its hallways, chilling anyone brave enough to listen. Guests who venture here speak in hushed tones about the eerie happenings that plague their nights. Mirrors seem to breathe with life, reflecting ghostly figures that shouldn't exist. Disembodied whispers call out from corners, both near and far, unintelligible yet spine-chilling. Rooms grow oppressively cold without explanation, and the sensation of unseen eyes burning into your back is impossible to shake. Some have even sworn they woke in the dead of night, faces momentarily obscured by shadowy figures leaning over them. The walls of Helga's Folly, painted with bizarre, frenetic artwork, hide more than just artistic expression. They guard the restless spirits of its past. When you sleep here, beware, you are never truly alone. 2. The General's House. Nuwara, Eliya nestled amidst the mist-shrouded hills of Nuwara, Eliya. The General's house exudes an air of quiet grandeur by day. But when darkness falls, shadows stretch unnaturally long, and the bungalow transforms into a foreboding relic of its colonial past. Built during British rule, this historic government residence has borne witness to centuries of secrets, and something seems to linger still. Civil servants assigned to the house speak of restless nights, punctuated by the sound of heavy boots echoing down empty corridors. The scent of aged tobacco and clinking glasses sometimes wafts through the air, though no soul is in sight to claim them. Many believe these signs belong to a former British officer who took his last breath within these walls. His tale is shrouded in mystery. Was it illness that claimed him, or the weight of untold despair? Witnesses report spectral figures pacing the veranda and translucent silhouettes reflected in foggy windows. The eerie calm is often disrupted by faint whispers, a language now unfamiliar, yet unmistakably filled with sorrow. As the mountain winds howl, one can't help but wonder, is the officer searching for redemption? Or do the sins of this place still bind him to its cursed halls? 3. Old Dutch Hospital. Colombo, the cobblestones of the Old Dutch Hospital glisten faintly under the flickering streetlights, whispering secrets of centuries past. By day, the restored colonial building hums with life, restaurant chatter, the clink of glasses. But come nightfall, an unnatural stillness settles over the fort area. Built in the 17th century as a hospital for Dutch sailors, the structure once housed the sick and the dying during devastating epidemics. It is said the walls absorbed their anguish, and the spirits of the lost never truly left. Visitors walking those dim hallways after dark have felt icy winds that emerge from nowhere, chilling their bones despite Colombo's tropical heat. Shadows flicker where light cannot reach, and some claim they've seen fleeting silhouettes of nurses or patients. their footsteps eerily silent on the stone floor. It is not uncommon to hear faint, disembodied sobbing echo through the empty corridors, or whispers in a language long forgotten. Some skeptics laugh it off, but the lingering cold that touches your neck, or the unmistakable feeling that someone is watching you, will quickly suffocate your doubt. If you dare enter the old Dutch hospital at night, tread carefully. The ghosts of the afflicted are known to reach out for company. 4. St. Peter's Church, Fort Colombo. Beneath the hallowed arches of St. Peter's Church lies a centuries-old secret that whispers to anyone brave enough to listen. Erected in 1821 on the crumbling remnants of a Portuguese convent and a burial ground older still, this unassuming house of worship seems to breathe its haunted past. By day, beams of sunlight dance benignly through stained glass. But by night, the shadows lengthen and something intangible stirs. Worshippers tell of unsettling encounters during hours meant for prayer. Phantom figures silently seated in the pews, their mournful eyes gleaming before vanishing into thin air. Others report cold drafts sweeping through the stone halls, an unnatural chill that pricks the skin and silences the hymns of the faithful. It is said that if one listens closely enough, they can hear ethereal voices singing, an unseen choir performing hymns that belonged to the dead long before they belonged to the living. But the most disturbing encounters emerge from the crypt-like basements, where faint screams seem to rise from below, as though the ground itself seeks liberation for restless spirits. St. Peter's remains a testament to faith and the lingering souls forever trapped in its sacred yet spectral embrace. 5. Jawate Lunatic Asylum, Angoda Mental Hospital, Colombo District. Perched amidst the bustle of modern Colombo lies the Jawate Lunatic Asylum, now known as Angoda Mental Hospital. By day, its colonial walls echo with the hum of patients and staff. But when night falls, the shadows deepen and the air grows heavier as whispers of the past awaken. This institution, steeped in a grim history of mistreatment and despair, seems to hold on to the anguish of its former inhabitants, manifesting in ways that chill even the most seasoned staff. Terrified night watchmen tell of whispered conversations in empty corridors and the sudden, eerie movement of objects left undisturbed. Some have even spoken of patients engaging in heated dialogue with people no one else can see. There are chilling accounts of muffled sobs emanating from locked, abandoned wards, and doors mysteriously creaking open, as if unseen forces wander freely. The most unnerving tales, however, come from the brave few who have ventured near the older wings, their flashlights dimming without warning, the oppressive feeling of being watched, and fleeting glimpses of pale faces peering through cracked windows. Here, the weight of unresolved agony clings to every corner, leaving visitors and staff alike to wonder, is it the living or the dead who truly inhabit these halls? 6. House on Lake Road, Borales Gamua. There is a house on Lake Road, hidden behind a tangle of whispering trees and the still glinting waters of Borales Gamua Lake that locals refuse to approach after twilight. The house, though dilapidated, seems to hold its breath, as if waiting. Once home to a family of 5, its crumbling walls are now suffused with a chilling quiet, a silence said to thrum with the echoes of tragedy. Decades ago, the family met a sudden and inexplicable demise. Some whispered of poisoning, others of darker, unearthly forces, but no answers ever surfaced. Neighbors recount hearing blood-curdling screams in the dead of night, sharp, agonized cries that pierce the humid Sri Lankan air. When the moon hangs low over the lake, A shadowy figure of a woman dressed in flowing white is said to glide across the unkempt lawn, her face obscured, her head tilting unnaturally as if searching for something or someone. Lights flicker where there's no electricity. Cold spots nip at passers-by who dare walk too close. Those who have ventured near swear they hear soft, mournful whispers rising from the water, carrying echoes of loss and vengeance. Yet no one dares to stay long enough to find the source. What waits inside remains a dreadful mystery. 7. The Rest House. Avicewella, the rain fell in relentless sheets the night a weary traveler first heard of the rest house in Avicewella. Tucked deep into a secluded grove, the colonial-era structure loomed like a shadowed monument of forgotten time. The air was heavy with stories whispered by locals, stories of strange happenings that would send most scurrying back the way they came. Once a lively waypoint for British officers, its corridors now stand eerily still. But stillness does not mean silence. Guests recount waking to the sound of boots clicking on wooden floors, their rhythmic march betraying no earthly body. Some describe muffled voices murmuring in the dead of night, an eternal echo from another time. Others claim to have seen blurred figures in military uniforms wandering the dimly lit halls, their faces obscured, yet unmistakably filled with sorrow. The most unsettling tale mentions spectral gunfire erupting from nowhere. At times, the rooms shiver with an unseen violence, a chilling testament to an unrecorded confrontation. Those who dare to stay tell of icy drafts and the uncanny feeling of being watched. It is said that soldiers who perished while stationed here seek refuge, unable to leave a place that no longer belongs to the living. 8. Narangala Mountain. Badula as the final rays of sunlight retreat behind the sprawling slopes of Narangala Mountain, an uneasy silence takes hold. By day, this verdant hillside offers serene trails and breathtaking views, a haven for hikers. But when twilight cloaks the land in shadows, the air grows heavy, and the mountain becomes a different realm entirely. Whispers of an ancient curse follow those brave enough to remain after dark. Locals speak of ghostly figures draped in traditional white attire, flickering briefly amidst the trees before vanishing. Strangest of all are the orbs of light that float just out of reach, as though beckoning lone travelers deeper into the wilderness. A sinister legend clings to this place, of an era when sacrificial rites were performed on the mountain to appease forgotten deities. It's said the buried remains of those rituals lie scattered here, making the mountain sacred yet haunted. Hikers report eerie voices calling their names, luring them perilously near steep edges. Others claim their paths shift inexplicably, leading to hopeless disorientation. The villagers avoid the mountain at night, citing tales of those who disappeared forever under the guise of those alluring lights. Who, or what, still lingers on Narangala? No one dares to confirm. 9. Richmond Castle. Kalutara in the twilight hours, Richmond Castle seems to transform into a house caught between worlds. This once magnificent Edwardian mansion, with its sprawling grounds and grandiose corridors, stands cloaked in an air of sorrow. Legend whispers of its builder, a wealthy landowner, whose dreams of love and legacy crumbled beneath the weight of betrayal and loneliness. His marriage, a union intended to fill these halls with joy, ended in heartbreak, leaving him to wander the vast estate alone until his death. Visitors who dare step inside claim the house never truly feels vacant. Phantom footsteps echo softly on the grand staircase, growing louder as the setting sun paints the windows crimson. Some have reported distant childlike laughter resonating through the empty ballroom. though no children have been seen in decades. There are others who swear they've spotted the shadowy figure of a man in period attire lingering by the windows, gazing out as though still yearning for guests who never arrive. Beneath the gilded sadness, Richmond Castle hides something more, a darkness that grips the air like a lingering sigh. As the winds rise and the moonlight strikes the mansion's facade, one question lingers. Can love, unfulfilled and unrequited, truly haunt a place forever? Ginuella Bungalow, Galley. The Ginuella Bungalow sits on the edge of the sea, its weathered walls forever watching the churning waves. By day, the house seems almost peaceful, but as dusk falls, shadows stretch long, and a sinister air seeps from its cracks, drawing attention to its dark history. Locals avert their eyes when passing by, whispering stories of the tragedy that unfolded decades ago. The tale of a family torn apart in a gruesome murder-suicide. Those who've dared venture near after sunset speak of lights flickering in empty rooms, as though some unseen force still roams the halls. Windows, shattered by time, seem to hold pale faces staring out, their eyes hollow and unseeing. Waves crash loudly along the shore, masking the faint echo of footsteps that make their way toward unsuspecting visitors. Reports of poltergeist activity, a chair sliding soundlessly across the floor, doors creaking open without a breeze, objects vanishing into thin air, have terrified even the most skeptical intruders. The most harrowing detail: ghostly figures said to appear near the balcony, gazing mournfully toward the frothing sea as if forever trapped in sorrow. As night swallows the bungalow and the air grows heavy with dread, the restless spirits of Ginuella stir, waiting. Dark shadows, whispers in the void, and stories that refuse to rest. Sri Lanka's haunted tales leave us to question what truly lingers beyond. Which of these places would you dare to visit? Let us know below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. But beware, sometimes the spirits are watching too.